Hi and warm welcome to all the participants. I welcome you all to the morning session. Today we have the pleasure of having Dr. Puneet Kumar with us. Sir is scientist, agriculture structures and process engineering, ICAR CITH Srinagar. And the topic chosen for today's deliberation is minimal processing and packaging of horticulture produce. Sir, you are audible as well as visible. You could start with the presentation.
Okay. Very good morning to all. I am Dr. Puneet Kumar, working as a scientist, and my discipline is agriculture and process engineering. So today I will take a lecture on minimal processing and packaging of horticultural produce. The very thing is that when we say horticultural produce, the thing comes first is how much we are producing and where we stand in the world. So according to that, we can say that currently we are the second largest producer of the fruits and vegetables in the world. And in horticulture, primarily in the fruits, we are producing approximately 112 million tons of fruits and 209 million tons of vegetables. Similarly, we are first input means production like in banana, mango, and citrus produce. And in the case of vegetables like potato, onions, and tomato, we are producing higher. And the major states that are producing horticulture produces, like in case of fruits, that Maharashtra is the leader, followed by the Gujarat and Karnataka. Similarly, in case of vegetables, West Bengal, followed by the Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. And you can say that these major five states you are able to see on the screen. These are the means contributing more than 50% of the total production of fruits and vegetables in their respective category. Then the things come why we need a processing. So first is like processing. We have when we are producing a lot of means horticulture produces, but we are lacking behind in processing. But why processing is essential in case of Indian scenario? So the processing having some functionalities in our day-to-day life. So in first one is the preservation and the self-life extension. So mean whatever we are giving processing to the produce, that will help in extending self-life and preserving the quality. And the many techniques from ancient times we are using like sun drying, solar drying, then freeze drying. But in a recent time we have started doing canning, then pasteurization and sterilization, and many other means preservation techniques we follow to extend the shelf life. And second things come the safety and the hygiene. The safety and hygiene the top priority of the any processing sector, because the produce which is produced in the industry that need to be safe and hygiene. So when the consumer will eat or consume it, that it will not impact negatively to their health. So we have to take most precautions while processing the produce. Similarly, the convenience and accessibility. Like we can say that in market, if you go, you can see that one fruit might be 1 kg or one fruit might be around 500 grams. But the thing is that how much we need. So convenience is the one thing that what kind of that produce, their shape, their size, that need for us. So convenience comes the second. Then is the accessibility. So like some of the produce which are grown in some certain part of the India, another part of the world, you can say, but that also have possibility to be economically grown in the other another states, other areas. So the produced in the another state can be brought in the uh, and in the state where it is have more demand to get the maximum economical value. Then it's done that, and another function is that enhance nutritional value and functionality. So like you can say that in many produce, some of the nutrients will be absent in them. Like in milk, we can say that vitamin D is missing. Other minerals and vitamins all are it is enriched in the milk, but we need to fortify the milk with the vitamin D, so it can their functionality can be increased. Similarly, we eat salt. So normally what salt we eat, it is fortified with the iodine. Without means the natural salt is it is having less content of the iodine, but to the Indian scenario where we need to consume iodine in the proper amount. So fortification is the essential process. So this is the another importance of the processing. Then it's come the last one, that is value addition and waste reduction. In value addition, what we do that we convert the one produce into another form, so that can be become more consumable. Then it will be more easy to digest, easy to carry, easy to transport, all the things we do just to increase their value. And similarly also we try to reduce the wastage, because sometimes the operations like trimming, cutting, these are also helps in reducing the size, but it also improve the their shelf life by removing the unnecessary part. And some other value-added products we can make from the fruits, like jam, jelly. Then in vegetable cases, we can generally get the dried products and canned products, then smoked products. And the thing is that how much currently we are processing in India. If you see that in world scenario like Philippines, USA, China, they are much ahead from the India. Like in Philippines, they are processing around 78% of the produce. In USA, they are processing approximately 65%. And similarly in China, they are processing 23%. But if you see in Indian scenario, it is hardly 2.2% of the total production of the apple and fruits and vegetables that is completely processed in the another form. So there is a huge gap between means the current status in India and what we can achieve and what we need to achieve actually in coming years. Because as the population is increasing, the wastage of material, the wastage of fruits and vegetables are also getting increased. To feed the increasing number of mouths, we need to do some kind of processing to enhance their value. So there is a huge gap between current status and what we need to acquire. But we have seen that in past 5 years, the Indian food processing industry is growing at approximately 7.6%. And similarly, there are many big points in Indian scenario, like in over Indian condition, it is like unorganized processing sector, and also mostly processed at the small scale, where the thing happen like sometimes we are not able to control the quality. Means one lot will be having different characteristics, another will be having different one. And similarly, if we not follow in some sector, they do not follow the proper hygiene conditions. And also maybe like India having currently so like 2.2% only it is fruit and vegetables are processed. But maybe if you consider the unorganized sectors, this percent may go up to higher level. But still, according to the organized sector, only India is only processing approximately 2.2%. Similarly, also if we are not able to process the produce, this is also results in wastage of the material and natural resources. And you can say that approximately in case of fruits and vegetables, approximately 40% till now also it is get wasted only till it reach the end user. The next thing comes like minimal processing. As we know that processing is the essential, but what thing happen sometimes we can't go for the complete processing of the fruits and vegetable, because in Indian scenario, you know that people mostly prefer to consume fresh fruits and vegetables in place of fully ultra processed or processed products. So there is a huge demand for minimal processing of the fruits and vegetable. So the thing is, what is minimal processing? The minimal processing of fruits and vegetables is the process of physically altering the fresh produce to increase its functionality without changing the fresh properties. They are also called as ready to use, then fresh cut or pre-cut produce. These are alternative name they use. In this thing, what we do that we generally take the fruit or vegetable, whatever. So we do minimal operations like washing, trimming, cutting. So the thing is, our primary concern is to preserve the shape, size, and quality. Sometimes we minimize, means we change the shape or size, but of still we try to keep the quality as such it is as a fresh. So this also least changes in this also results in least changes in nutritional and chemical composition of the produce. And the thing is, another is that why minimal processing is becoming essential nowadays. As I told that in Indian scenario, also in foreign also, that people are means more workaholic. They have to do, they have to go for work, job. They have less time for doing these course of processing of the fruits and vegetables. So while keeping these things in mind, we can say that minimal processing is the essentials in nowadays, like the increased preference for the convenience that save time and effort and catering to fast-paced modern day lifestyle. Then this helps in utilizing surplus and perishable produce quickly, reducing the wastage during storage, transportation, and marketing. It also enhances the value of the raw produce and create new market segments, including salad, fresh cut packs, and meals kit, increasing farmer and processor income. A growing focus in health, which include the consumption of the fresh fruits and vegetables. This is the primary concern we can say that because in processed product we use sometimes we use preservatives, some chemicals um, that can impact the health. People nowadays try to avoid the ultra processed or processed products. So this is the main concern where people are getting more conscious about their health and they want to consume good quality of produce even at the higher cost they can do. So to the extent possible, consumer wants healthy products for their meals available at a good value and convenient, safe, and with good quality. So we can classify the minimal processing operation in the number of steps like from harvesting to receiving, then pre-cooling, washing and disinfection, that peeling, deseeding and trimming, then cutting to specific size, sorting to defects, dipping, drying, packaging and labeling, the storage and distribution. So these are the operation we primarily follow for the minimal processing of the fruits and vegetables. The first things come why harvesting is the essential. The harvesting is the main operation where at the first stage the farmer or operator is going to handle the produce. So at the beginning itself, if someone is handling the produce, if they damage the produce or harvest the improperly matured fruits or vegetables, that is going to impact the whole value chain of the produce. So very first operation we need to keep in mind is the harvesting. So for that we need to use some well-trained operators or workers must be engaged in the selection of the freshly ready to harvest fruits and vegetables with sound quality, so to avoid the damage and the contamination due to the handling. Handle must also ensure to use of clean hygienic equipment such as sharp harvesting knives, bags, and paddle boxes. The thing is, very much contamination may take place at the harvesting stage only, because if you're not using the proper harvesting tools or you are storing while the transportation or while storing you are using some bags which were earlier contaminated, that can also lead to the contamination of freshly harvested produce at the very beginning. So whole chain value chain can be impacted due to this. So we have always need to do some precautionary action we have to take, so to reduce the chances of contamination at the very beginning. So the very first thing come how we can decide the harvesting of the or the maturity stage of the produce. Traditionally we follow the visual method like color, shape, size, then physical methods like firmness, then ease of separation from the pedicel, and similarly we follow some chemical methods like total soluble solids, detectable acidity, then physiological methods like respiration rate, ethylene analyzer. But nowadays, we are also using some non-destructive technologies which can lead to identify the fruits which are ready to harvest without mechanically damage them. So for that, we use non-destructive technologies. So in non-destructive technologies, first one comes eNose. The eNose is a like a replica of the human perception, how we perceive the that actually any fruits or vegetable is ready to harvest or not. So this is like used to detect aroma volatiles in the range of food products. All the fruits and vegetables, they primarily in the fruits, they release the some aromatic compounds or volatile compounds, which can be detected by the some kind of sensors, um, and the backup data in the computer, which when the sensor detect any aroma or any volatile compound, it run the database in their computer. So decide to know that which kind of aromatic compound is this, and with that we can also know that at what stage of the fruit they release different kind of volatile compounds. So we can decide on the basis of existing data that whether it is ready to harvest or not. So this is like a non-destructive technology we can be used in the field. Some of the devices I recently have developed in over in CITF also in our campus. One sensor had developed for the harvesting of the apple. Uh, so they are also work on the primarily basis on the volatile compound only. And the second one is acoustic furnace sensor. Like traditionally, like for watermelon, we gently tap on the watermelon to know that what kind of sound is coming. So on the basis of that, nowadays some acoustic sensor have been developed, which can be used for the quality evaluation, especially in case of some fruits, in which the surface hardness or the hardness of the whole fruit changes over the time. And also, these kind of sensors are nowadays used in estimation of the water content inside the coconut. So this is the one example that coconut is not visible, means we can't visualize the water inside the coconut. But this kind of sensor can be used to know, without breaking the coconut, that how much water is inside the coconut. So this is also kind of new technologies which can be used for assess quality assessment or in this sector. Similarly, you can say that in right side you can see that they are using some mechanical device which can prick or hamper the product. But in case of acoustic sensor, we are using simply sound waves or ultrasound waves that travel through the produce, and with that only we can know that whether it is ready to harvest or not. Similarly, it comes third comes the spectroscopic analysis. In spectroscopic analysis, the most primarily used is visible spectrum imaging. Similarly, like we use our eye for the identification of the produce, whether it is ready to harvest or not. The machines can also be used for detecting the fruits stages. Like for that, a surface color based on absorption of the light energy by the compounds like chlorophyll, carotenoids, and anthocyanins can be used to decide whether the fruit is ready to harvest or not. Like similarly in the packaging, like for detection of color of the apple and peach and plum and apricots, this sensor can be used. Then come near infrared spectroscopy. Like we know that visible light is what we can see with our eyes. The near infrared spectroscopy, they use the radiation which are having the bandwidth of 750 nanometer to 2500 nanometer, which is not visible to us, but machine can detect, and many of the compounds in the fruit are produced, they respond to the particular wavelength. For that, they are suitable for the compound containing hydroxyl groups, then the CH groups, NH groups, and many other groups. So this can also be used to determine the firmness, acidity, bricks, and color of the produce. And in this segment, also one recent technology developed, that is hyperspectral imaging. Nowadays, people use for quality evaluation. Then presence of any kind of contamination or presence of a pesticide, insecticides inside the produce. Like if you harvest any kind of a fruit from the field and you scan under the that hyperspectral camera. So you can get the number of images from the produce at a different level of the wavelength. Like from 750 nanometer, it will start taking the picture of the fruit till maybe 2500 nanometer. They will take all the picture from each and every individual wavelength. So this will be compiled, and similarly at the same time, the actual pesticide or that any insecticide that can be run on this hyperspectral imaging. So the end result will be correlated that whether any kind of contamination or insecticide, pesticide is present on the produce. This technology is nowadays used. And third one is fluorescence imaging. This measures EMR in the visible range following the excitation with short wavelength radiations, like its application in the measurement of chlorophyll fluorescence. And the last one comes that NMR and MRI. These are the high-end equipments which are used, but for application of in the food industry till now they have not taken much. So that is the due to the cost of the machine as well as the operation cost. So till now we are not able to reduce the cost of these kind of machines. So these are the they are very beginning stages, only research purpose. They are being used for analysis. Then after harvesting, the second things come. Uh, we have to receive the produce at certain stations where we do minimal operation. So after harvesting, we receive this any produce at the receiving station. The personnel should check the visible defects and enough capable to make decision to whether or not to process the produce. Similarly, the facility should have an enclosed refrigerator dock facility for received produce. Once the produce are received at the facility, then next operation comes that pre-cooling. As we know that pre-cooling is essential for removal of the field heat. And if we, as soon as much you remove the field heat, the product quality can be enhanced to means multiple times. So this is the process of immediate cooling of the harvest produce to certain level to improve the field heat and slow down the respiration process. There are many different systems they are used for pre-cooling, like pre-cooling rooms, then forced air cooling, then hydro cooling, vacuum cooling, and cryogenic cooling. In cooling room, simply we use cold storage kind of facilities we use, but in case of forced air cooling, the blast of cold air is blown on the produce that kept in the crates or open bags or shacks. So that will be cooled in the instant time. And hydrocooling is the most common treatment which we follow in industries, especially for bulk of the container, bulk of the produce, especially in case of apple, then pomegranate, then lemon, all the things. Hydrocooling is the most commonly used method. And another one comes that vacuum cooling method. In this method, we reduce the pressure inside the container, and we use the cold air or the blast of the air inside and maintain the temperature for removing the heat. And cryogenic cooling is another one, but this is also a costly and much precautions need to be done, and this can't be used for all kind of fruits. So certain fruits only can be used for cryogenic cooling. And these are the pictorial description of the pre-cooling methods which are used. Like in first left one, you can see that pre-cooling simple room are there. Only AC compartment, AC is given, so the cold air will be blown inside the. But in the forced air cooling system, that cold air blast means at high velocity and the volume, the cold air will be blown through the crates or container. And fourth one is vacuum cooling, another is hydro cooling, the most common acid. Once the produce is already cool, the next operation comes the washing and the disinfection. Like I said, washing and disinfection is the most. This is also most essential because any kind of contamination left in this process at this stage The later on, the whatever produce we are making, that will be having very short shelf life due to the presence of contamination at this stage. Though this is like a very critical stage at what we need to take some precautions while performing the operation. This is essential operation in the minimum processing and need to be carried out soon after receiving the product. The main function is removing the damaged tissue, which normally is carried out with water flumes and tank prior to cutting the and trimming. The quality water used for the washing is top priority, as this can also act as a contamination. I said like this water quality is also take we have to take precaution all the time. Also, the water recirculation with proper treatment is necessary to conserve the water and reduce the wastage of the water. This recycled water must be treated with antimicrobial agents like hypochlorous acid. Once we have done the washing and disinfection, the next step is comes like for grading. So grading is like in which we use multiple parameters to decide whether to categorize this produce in this category and another category. So this is the process of sorting the fruits based on quality characteristics like shape, color, and size. But whereas on in graded on the weight basis or the dimensions basis like size, shape, and length. Generally, sorting is the process in which only one parameter is considered while the operation. Like in case of size, we consider only size for the sorting. So in case of color, only one parameter color will be decided to sorting the whole lot. Whereas in case of grading, the multiple parameter will be decided. Like size will also be considered, shape will also be considered, then diameter, whatever the parameters we consider, multiple parameters we consider while deciding the grading of the produce. So generally, fruits can be classified into four classes. First one is extra class, another is class 1, class 2, and culled fruits. In extra class, they are the superior quality in terms of shape and color without internal defects, maybe tolerance around 5%, and having uniform color, shape, size, and weight in the maintained. Whereas in class 1, the individual fruit is allowed with a slight defect in the shape, color, and inner skin defect, which do not affect overall the appearance. Whereas in case of class 2nd, it may exhibit minor internal and external defects that provided should be fit for consumption, best suited for the internal short distance markets. Whereas in case of culled fruit, they are not fit to consume directly. We need to do some operations like cutting, trimming, which which need to be removed and which need to be kept. So these are the culled fruit, which are primarily in many cases they are used for processing, might be drying or extracting the any compound or making the juice or another products. Then it's come peeling, trimming, and deseeding. So this is the fifth step in which we have to peel out the skin from the fruit, then trim it, and also in some cases we need to deseed. So several kind of equipments being used for peeling, trimming, and the deseeding, which includes knives for the small scale, abrasive peelers, and automatic trimmers for the large scale operation. And also the automated peelers and with abrasive rollers are used in some large processing plant for peeling other fruits and vegetables. And next operation is cutting operation. The cutting operation may include various operations such as chopping, slicing, shredding, peeling, dicing, and sectioning. These operations are done mainly by the hands in many small scale processing plants. The size of cutters are also need to be considered while operation. The thing is, in cutting operation, there are many operations like chopping, the simple we use most commonly. Then slicing, some kinds of like thin slice we need to make for drying, then making chips or like that. And sometimes we'll go for shredding. And in case of dipping, after completing this operation, they might need to be dipped in certain kind of solutions to extend their shelf life. The cut produce can be optionally dipped in a solution of acidulant antioxidant blends consisting of a combination of ascorbic acid, citric acid, or in anti-softening agents such as calcium chloride. So after a dipping operation, mostly if it is wet in nature, so we need to go for drying operation as well, because if the moisture content or excess moisture on the surface of the produce, that can also lead to the micro contamination or decreasing the shelf life. Uh, so we need to go for drying also. So in this case, we simply can wipe up the extra water present on the surface of the produce, or also we can go for removing the internal moisture content from the produce. For removing the internal moisture content from any fruits and vegetable, we may need to use certain kind of mechanical devices like spin drying, sorry, that air dryer, and in normal skin or surface moisture removal, you can use some spin drying baskets, then conveyor shakers can be used. Once the produce is fully processed, means fruits and vegetables are fully minimally processed and done. So next steps come the packaging of the produce. The packaging refer to the process such as cleaning, drying, preserving, and materials such as glass, metal, paper, paperboard, and plastic employed to contain, handle, protect, and transport a product. Different materials need different packaging materials, such as liquid requires bottles or barrels, whereas solid requires wrap. And packaging it packaging it they are both are different things. Like packaging, it means covering of the produce itself to protect from the damage or leakage or the pollution or contamination. Like chocolate packed in the thin sheet or wrapper, milk in a sachet. Whereas packing is mean putting all the packages in a big box, chest, crate, or a container, etc., especially for the storage, transportation, and the handling. What are the main function of the packaging? Primarily, we are having four major functions. The first one is contamination, second one is protection, third is convenient, another is communication. The containment operation is like we have to contain the produce in certain boundary. So we will provide enclosure to keep the produce. Whereas in case of protection, it is meant to avoid the direct contact between the product and the surrounding atmosphere. In case of convenient, it is like how convenience it is for the use, like what kind of size is the package, what kind of the shape package having, and what kind of closures are there, what openers are there. So how it will be convenient for the end user. And communication, it will tell that what kind of material is this. They will give all kind of details, like when it is produced, from where it is produced, what they contain, neutral composition. So what will be the expiry? All the things will be comes in the communications in communication. So packaging can be classified as active packaging or intelligent packaging as well. The main functions come different comes. How we are using these functions in those packaging. So they can be classified in different types. So the first one is the protection. It protects against the shock, then drop, then pressure, vibration, heat, and the moisture and moisture content. Similarly, the containment, it prevents prevention of the product loss and pollution, enabling of the storage, transport, and the distribution. And in case of convenience, it primarily helpful in transportation, then stocking at the warehouse at the residence, also for their design and size protection. And in case of communication, it is helpful in identification that brand image will be available on the product. Similarly, it gives attraction to the people, and it will also have to follow some legal requirements as well. The packaging material can be classified in different categories, primarily like it is from plastic material, it is from glass material, or it is from metal, paper, or wood. Primarily in this case, in minimal processing, we use that glass containers we use, or plastic films we use. Sometimes paper as well is used, but metal and wooden, metal is least used in this case. Wooden still somewhere you can find the applications. But for packaging, some things we need to consider while designing of the any packaging material, packaging for the produce. The first one comes the respiration. As we know that fruits and vegetables, they respire even after the harvesting from the plant or tree. So we need the most things we need always to keep in mind that how they respire and how much oxygen they consume or how much carbon dioxide they produce. So for respiration, we use a respiration quotient. We generally study, that is the ratio of carbon dioxide released by the oxygen absorbed. The aerobic respiration RQ range between zero point 0.7 to 1.3, and if RQ is less than 1, it might be for liquid. RQ equal to 1, it might for carbohydrates, and RQ greater than 1, it might be having organic acids. Like in case of apple, you can say that they are having respiration quotient of around 0.86, whereas in case of cherry it is 0.80. In case of strawberry it is approximately 0.84, when the produce are stored at the temperature of 5 degrees Celsius, and carbon dioxide and oxygen are maintained at different levels. Similarly, second things come that transpiration. In transpiration, what happened that it will result in the loss of the water from the harvesting of the fruits and vegetables. The main concern for the commercial and the physiological deterioration happen at this place. It also results in the wilting, that shrinkage, then loss of firmness, then crispiness, and deterioration in appearance, their texture and flavor. We can say that only 3 to 10% loss in the water, it may drastically decrease the freshness of the produce. So always we need to uh, decide what kind of a packaging material or packaging system we use. So the minimum moisture content will be lost from there, and the freshness of the or the good quality of the produce can be maintained for over the longer duration. Similarly, the factor influencing the transpiration, like surface area to volume ratio, then nature of the surface coating, so then temperature, relative humidity, and extent of the mechanical damage, if any happened. And third one comes that post-harvest decay. As we know that once the produce is minimally processed, it is highly prone to the contamination, because surface area is increased, then the cell structure is ruptured, the skin is ruptured, so it will means water may come out or nutrients may come out from the skin, so it will attract the microorganism, then insect, all those things. So this can lead to the contamination as well. So the unprocessed produce is like less prone to contamination in case of minimally processed produce. So we always need to take some extra precautions while processing. So in case of fruits, they are acidic in nature, maybe pH is around less than 4.5%, 4.5, and in this case, fungus is the main culprit for the decay. Whereas in case of vegetable, they are less acidic in nature, like they are having pH 4.5 greater than 4.5, and bacterial infection may occur in this case. So for storage of the, just a minute. For storage of the any minimally processed produce or fresh produce, we can generally follow, most probably we follow two kind of storage process. Like first one is a controlled atmosphere packaging, and then another one is a modified atmosphere packaging. Primarily in case of minimally processed produce, which are made in small pack size for the end consumer use, we use modified atmosphere packaging. Whereas in case of when we have to transfer the material from longer distance, means if it is produced in one place and having demand also in another place, then we may minimally process the produce and kept in the controlled atmosphere package and transfer in the controlled conditions only till it reach the end destination. So first thing is what is modified atmosphere packaging? That it involves packaging of a produce in a permeable materials with inside gas composition are different from the atmospheric condition. It increases in the surrounding carbon dioxide, and it may lead to decrease in the oxygen concentration, which results in decrease in the respiration rate and extend the shelf life. The thing is, when we pack the material inside the package, it will helps in modifying the or interior of the interior atmospheric condition in the pack size. So the composition will be varied. Like if we reduce the carbon dioxide, sorry, if we increase the carbon dioxide and reduce the oxygen concentration, this may help it positively to extend the life. But the thing is, as we know that oxygen is also required for the respiration, and plant any produce they even respire after the harvesting as well. So we need to also maintain certain amount of the oxygen inside the container, that it should not lead to the degradation of the produce or anaerobic reaction inside the container. Like that modified atmosphere packaging can be classified or categorized into two types. One is active MAP, another is passive MAP. In passive MAP, the gases play a role as a CO2 and oxygen. Like in passive, we are not manually removing any kind of air from the container. It is naturally adjust the gases permeable between the film and outside the atmosphere. So the thing is, it will get in equilibrium with respect to the atmospheric conditions. Whereas in active MAP, we intentionally remove the air from the container and fill whatever gases we need to fill. So primarily what happened, oxygen is mostly replaced with the carbon dioxide or nitrogen. But in this case, we mostly will not remove a whole oxygen. Only certain amount of oxygen will be removed, and another gas composition will be maintained as well. The most common used material for making of the that modified atmosphere packaging, they are LDPE, then PVC, PVDC, PP, PET bottles, PET material, or PS. Then the permissilivity ratio, the ratio of permeability coefficient of the carbon dioxide with respect to oxygen to the material. The air will be having around 0.88%, and LDP and the PVDC will be having around 5.2. So these are the containers we can see that fresh produce can be kept. Like in first image, you can say it is kept in certain kind of punnet box. Simply they have used to keep. Whereas in another image, you can say that foam nets are used. But once we do for minimal processing, we need to keep the containers, certain kind of containers for extending the shelf life of produce. Like in first load side image, first image, it is like that LDPE film it is used for the packaging of the container, the produce, and in another simple film they have used for the storing of the fruits and vegetables. Like in controlled atmosphere vacuum, in this condition we are fully going to regulate the atmosphere inside the climatic condition as well as gas composition condition throughout the process until the storage operation is fully completed. So this is it is a atmosphere with a composition that is different from the normal air and strictly controlled over the operation. And this the combination of a controlled atmosphere with refrigerants help in extending the storage life up to years, which is much greater than the chilling alone. So these are the references which I have used in this presentation, and from my side, this much. And if any questions, anything you need to ask, you can ask me now this time.
Hello.
Huh.
Yes, Puneet sir. It's a very really a nice presentation. Uh, Regarding that sensors you have discussed in your presentation, sir, I want to know regarding that coconut water detection sensor.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Is it really commercially available?
No, actually not commercially available, but over ICR Institute, they are means they are doing some research work and they have developed some prototype as well. But some means it is only developed in developmental phase, so they had not gone for commercialization till date. But in coming years, you might get this kind of sensor in the market as well. If you are interested in this technology, you can even contact in CIFET Ludhiana. Actually, they are only developing this technology at their institute.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Sir, I have one more question. Like regarding this map,
Huh.
modified atmosphere packaging and control atmosphere packaging, sir. Regarding this modification of gaseous concentrations, carbon dioxide and oxygen. So
Hmm.
really, if it depends whether it depends on the food types or products, whether it is a vegetable or a fruit, or whether there is any standard values for that we can adjust to that concentration for carbon dioxide and oxygen, sir.
Actually, the concentration can be varied according to the fruit to fruit as well and fruit to vegetable as well. The thing is, all the produce they respire at a different rate. Like simply example, you can take that onion and potatoes. They respire at very slow rate, so they can be stored up to months. Like in normal storage, in homes also, sometimes we use for 3 4 months. But in proper storage conditions, we can extend up to year as well. So some vegetable as well, they are prone to means deteriorate. Like lady finger you take, so you can't keep the lady finger for many days. Simply it will be kept for 4 or 5 days hardly. So all the vegetables and fruits in fruits different fruits will also will behave in different way. So we need to standardize all the things for particular fruit. It may vary according to varieties as well, because some varieties are hard in nature, some will be more perishable. So those things, it is not some particular, we can't say that this condition only will be required for throughout all the vegetables or fruits. This condition can be varied according to the end product.
Okay, sir. So it will depend on the varieties, depend on the food, depend on fruits and vegetables. It
Yeah.
depends. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. It's a really very nice presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Saab, congratulations. Nice presentation. Sir, I want to know CISS Srinagar is doing some work on flower crop also for post-harvest processing and handling point of view, post-harvest handling.
Sorry.
CISS did some work on flower crops, ornamental crops or flower crops
Okay.
like tulip and other crops which are specific to Srinagar.
Actually, the thing is, till date, we were not having any scientist from the floriculture. We this year only we got one scientist. So till the thing is, in our condition right now, we are not doing any kind of research in the self-life extension. But in previous, over some seniors have done, mean the cut flower they have used, and different kind of chemical solution they have means prepared, so to extend their shelf life, to primarily for extending the shelf life of tulip they have done. But I don't remember the means, I don't know the actual composition and the chemical they used. But one study had been done in our institute as well for extending the shelf life of tulip flower.
Sir, one more question because I am very much interested in potato also. So
Yes.
in CPI did a lot of work and Modipuram also did some work. Did you did it in your center any work on potato?
No. Actually, we as a CITH, it is works only on cold climate crops. So potato is having a separate institute. It is in Shimla, CPRI. They
Yes.
primarily work on potato.
Okay. So which vegetables you are doing looking there?
Currently means we grow here that lettuce we grow, then that parsley we grow, then Chinese cabbage we grow, then particular paprika, Kashmiri paprika, the Kashmiri chili there that we grow, and then paprika. This kind of crops only we handle in over institute.
Okay. If we need some seeds of these crops for our student experiments only or for a demonstration purpose in college,
Okay.
government college, could you provide
Yeah,
us?
we can provide, but the concerned person, she is our senior. You can contact that. If you need number, I can share the number, or else the organizer can provide you the number.
Sure.
Uh, but we provide the seeds actually, yeah. But not all the crops. The certain crops which we have list or it is commercially available. The some varieties are we are evaluating in our station. Those are in under evaluation. That seeds we can't provide, but released variety seeds we can provide. With cost, no problems.
So my last question, because you are working on temperate crop, and fortunately I also get some exposure, some experience there. In Kashmir also I did some work. So
Okay.
could you share me what kind of the problems you are facing in the post-harvest processing or handling of the temperate crops?
The primary thing is no, like in Kashmir scenario, you can say we are just producing and selling. Means we are not doing the intermediate operation at the at over level. So our main focus means I'm telling what growers they do. Their main focus is just harvest the crop and sell to the market. The very I have seen the most problematic thing I have seen that when we in theory we study that we have to harvest the produce and immediately cool the produce to remove the heat, field heat. But what happened? Some of the farmers they simply harvest the produce and kept in the shade for a few hours only. Means it will means it is okay. You can keep in the shade for a few hours. The thing is the heat removal will be not proper because if it is in open condition, sometime contamination will happen. Sometime if sun shining will be there, that will also increase the respiration rate because when you making the heap of the product, similarly the produce at the lower side, they will be means like fully pressed only, so they will try to respire at the faster rate, and accumulation of the moisture content in those area at the lower lot also can lead to the further contamination in the future. So this is the major problem. Means but at the farm level it happens, but otherwise mostly in Kashmir region people they prefer to directly sell in the market or means to the another market like in Delhi, Jammu, Punjab, those things. Or only few person they also use some central facilities in Kashmir, that is for a controlled atmosphere storage are also installed by the state government. So some of the farmers they store their produce in them in those storage facilities as well. But only few persons store, not the all the farmers. Mostly they prefer to sell instantly and get the money in hand. Means the intermediate operations can be performed in the local conditions as well to increase the value of the produce to get the maximum economical recovery from the produce.
Thank you, Dr. Sam.
Okay.
Nice. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Puneet Saab, for such a wonderful presentation. Anyone who wants to interact with Dr. Saab? Sir, we were having a query in chat, but I am not able to retrieve that. If you can see that, because my computer turned off.
Wait. When we make sweet pickle of fruits using sugar and jaggery, it swells up in due course of time. Why and its prevention. Okay, the thing is like whatever produce we are going to store in any kind of solution. The main thing is so over the time what happened, the moisture content or the solution what in which we are storing the produce, the moisture content or water content, it will be means ingress inside the food produce, and the that swelling of the cells, means by absorbing the water, the swelling of the cell will take place, and certain time it may also rupture as well. So you can see that the produce at the very beginning it will be like a hard in nature, but over the time it will get softened because it will absorb the water content, and the rupture of the cell also take place. That will be the main cause for this. If you want to see the prevention, the thing is prevention can be means precautionary action can be taken, like what composition you are maintaining. So like you can know that osmotic action will be there once you put the any produce in the solution, in sugar solution or jaggery solution. The thing is there will be moisture movement or water movement from the solution to the fruit. So proper concentration of the solution can be one method or one way to repeat this action and preserve the quality of the produce.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. I think she might have heard this. Anyone else among the participants who wants to interact with Dr. Puneet sir? I don't think anybody else is there to ask any question. Shall we wind up? Dilli sir, thank you. Thank you for your time, sir. And we take a leave. So thanks to all the participants and Dr. Puneet sir for his valuable time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.